All right, John, should we do this?
Let's do this.
All right, John.
All right.
We are back with episode 5 of the Jon and Nick Show. I almost said Mad Podcast again.
I wonder how many episodes it's going to take until that stops being a habit.
It's going to take at least until we're number 1 in India again.
That's right.
That's when this will feel real. Hey, listen, before we get into anything, I know, man, there's a lot of serious things going on in the world.
Yeah.
And, between Afghanistan, between COVID, Delta,
right,
mandates, like vaccines, all of these things. I just want to take a moment to ask a serious question. Do you think I can pull off these hats?
Well, hey, as somebody that has grown up wearing nothing but those style of hats, I think yes. I think that's a sharp look on you.
Hang on, let's.
Oh yeah. It's I'll tell you, it's very Pacific Northwest. It's very Portland-ish.
Is it?
Yeah. I remember one of the jobs that I got. I was a regional sales manager, and I covered the 17 Western U.S. states. And I had to fly in on the interview to Salt Lake City and meet the general manager and interview at a hotel. And while we were talking, I had one of those hats. I mean, that's how I've always, until like the last 5-ish years, I only wore that style of hat if I was going to wear a hat. And, obviously nailed the interview, got the job, all of that. But while we were talking, one thing he brought up is when you're covering that large of a territory, it's important to try and look, what's the word I'm looking for? Nondescript, like kind of like neutral, right?
Yeah.
It's like you don't want to look like you're from somewhere.
Geographically vague.
Yes. And he was like, but he said the only thing I would recommend is wear like a nice sport jacket and some slacks and try to be, like you're saying, geographically vague, because you will likely get more welcomed at different states and areas. Whereas like today, I know you're from Portland. He said I would see you in an airport and I would know that you are from Portland.
Which is funny because this is from a company called Boston Scully. Like, I guess these are really big over in Boston.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
But I guess different,
it's why I started wearing that hat, because I was super into Boston, and like Good Will Hunting was popular at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is gonna make me cool. I'm gonna be like a tough guy from Southie. Southie. Everybody from Boston's from Southie. And so yeah, absolutely.
It's funny that you say that this makes me look like a Portlander, because it's, I do really, when I wear it, I just have the urge to steal a vehicle, set it on fire, and poop on the sidewalk.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is.
That's what Portland's known for now. So
That's right.
It is. Okay. We've been waiting all week.
Okay.
So John apparently has this great story where he's like, we always try to like, hey, I think I've got something for like the little banter part of the show. Which, we'll peek behind the fourth wall here. That's kind of what we call this part of the show. And sometimes we have something good. And we're like, okay, I'm going to wait to tell you this.
Yes.
Like, so that it's not like, oh, I'm laughing at stuff that I've already heard. So I've been waiting all week to hear
Thank
John's,
you, by the way,
dentist story.
From it's not the dentist. It was the eye doctor.
Eye doctor. That's right.
And
clearly I'm an attentive listener.
That's and now I feel bad because I feel like maybe I set the anticipation too high, right? It's not going to be this phenomenal story, but something incredibly
I don't want to oversell this, but this is the greatest story
ever. This is the greatest story I've ever told in my life. I'm still frustrated. I'm still frustrated by it. I feel like it should not have happened, and I want to talk about this lady in particularly, and at the very least, kind of like a PSA, public service announcement. If you nasty, I is. Just so that, like, I don't know, maybe we all can be a little more aware when we're dealing with customers and service and all of that. So Here we go. Not to name companies or organizations, we'll just say nondescript. It's an eye doctor in Vancouver, Washington, which it isn't, but we'll call it that. All right.
Okay.
I don't want to make anybody.
Let's dox them. What's their personal phone number and address?
So we've always gone to this eye doctor because we think they're great. The check-ins, the people at the front have always been incredibly friendly. The eye doctor himself, it's a family business. He's fantastic. He always does a great job of not just getting us through quickly and efficiently, but being very, very kind and friendly and warm and inviting to our children. And as a parent, I'm sure you can appreciate, like, if somebody does a good job with your kids, that's huge. Like, it makes the whole trip better. Liam is not stressed out. He goes through all of his tests. He's joking around with the doctor. It's just a fun time, makes the entire day better. So what we did was, it's been a couple of years for Liam, and it's been a couple of years or more for me. And so we both were up to the points where we need eye exams, and my frames and lenses are a little jacked up. Liam lost his glasses at the last vacation that we had just a few weeks ago. And so he's been without and struggling a little bit. And it's like, you know what, it's time. Let's go get an eye exam and then pick out some frames and get some new glasses. So we scheduled where both of us had eye exams back to back, right? So that we could go in, just knock it out at the same time, you know, two birds, one stone kind of thing. Dude, we check in, everything fantastic. Just like I remembered, everybody's friendly. We get called back right away. We go through all the tests. Even the person who's like checking us in, amazing, right? We get to the doctor. He's making Liam laugh. Liam's doing all the tests. There's no tears. It's all wonderful. We are in and out in what feels like record time. Okay. We have our new prescriptions. Then we go and wait to do the frames deal. And you know what I mean? Like, where you sit and it's like, now I got to have, like, walk around and find a pair of frames. Well, what makes this worse or more uncomfortable of an experience is because of COVID, and this being a healthcare, quote unquote, I mean, freaking eye doctor, but apparently that counts as healthcare. Get out of here. Masks are required. Okay, you have to wear a mask inside all healthcare facilities, which is crazy. I won't stay on that point. It's really frustrating though. So me and Liam are just chilling in masks, and because of COVID, you can't just go walk and look at frames. You know how we always would. Like, I just want to walk around. I'll find some that I like. I can look myself. Thank you. I'll let you know when I see some that I want, and then we can figure out the paperwork. That's not how it happens now. You have to sit and wait until somebody calls you, and then they walk you around and take you through this whole experience, right? We're going to go look at all the different frames that you think you might like, and we'll find some maybes, and then we'll take them back and we'll narrow it down. Now, before I get into the experience, I want to preface this with something. Liam historically has gravitated towards what I would call ridiculous looking frames. Okay. Like, he wants the blue and red frames that say Spider-Man across the side and you know, look stupid and like don't match anything that he has to wear. Okay. And that's probably every 6-year-old out there. I don't know, but that's Liam. And so I've always said no to that. Okay. And I mean, I still am. So when he lost his glasses, which were all black, we talked about, we need to get an eye exam anyways, get you some new frames. He said, I want some red and black ones. I was like, no, you don't wear anything that's red. You know, and so that's silly. Like, you're not going to wear glasses that don't match with anything that you wear, right? If all you wore was red and black, I'd maybe be okay with it, but you don't. And glasses are too expensive to just buy you different colors. You know, you don't care that much. You just like red and black. It's not about matching. So I said, no, you're going to get black frames, or gray, maybe clear, right? Something neutral that matches all of your outfits, which, you know, he struggled a little bit with, but let's be real. He had black frames from 2 years ago because that's the conversation we had, right?
Yeah.
I don't mind making him aware of the expectations and then following through on said expectations. So back to the day. Everybody's good. We're happy. We're sitting there waiting. all of a sudden a lady comes up that I'll say arguably she's our age. Okay.
Okay.
Push in her early 40s, right? But I could tell, and maybe this is a little judgmental on my part. It's a lot judgmental on my part. I don't care. Based on like the hairstyle and like how she's kind of conducting herself, probably still living like 25-ish. You know what I mean? Like she's in her 40s, but like, you know, the young fun mom that like buys the kids alcohol at the high school parties because she just remembers what it was like to be fun and crazy. She comes up, says, "Hey, you know, guys, I can go ahead and take care of you. You know, let's go check out some stuff." And she's being super nice to Liam, which is fine. It's great. I mean, I appreciate that. And she's like, "Hey, buddy, we're getting you some glasses, huh?" And he's like, "Yeah." And she says, "Well, what colors do you like?" Here's where it starts to go off the rails. Because Liam is like all excited and he goes, "I like red and black." She goes, "Oh, you like red and black glasses? We better go look at some red and black glasses." And I said, "Well, no, we want to just look at some, you know, black, maybe some gray, some clear, something like that." "All right, let's go take a look." She walks right over to him. "How about these? Try these ones on, red and black glasses." And he's glowing, dude. He's like giddy, puts them on. He looks in the mirror. He's like, "I like them." She's like, "You like those? Okay, we better put those in the maybe box." I was like, "Well, okay, hold on. We don't necessarily need to put those in the maybe box because he's not going to get red and black glasses. We want black glasses, maybe some gray ones. What do you think of these, buddy?" Gives him, dude, I'm talking like I'm invisible. She's legitimately ignoring every word that I say and giving him red and black glasses. And he tries on another pair and he's all excited and he's smiling and he loves it. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, these are great." And I was like, "Okay, we're not, Liam, we've talked about this. We're not getting red and black glasses. We're getting black glasses or something that's neutral that goes with the different outfits that you wear." And you can see him start getting choked up and the tears start welling up in his eyes and he's all sad. And it's like, we need to find some black glasses or something like that. Dude, she's still completely ignoring me. I'm the one that has to reach in and I grab a pair of black lenses off of the wall. And I say, "Try these on, Liam. Let's see what those look like." And he puts them on and he's all like deflated now, right? He's all sad. He's all freaking butthurt. And he's looking in the mirror and he's like, "You know."
And your son is so animated when he's dejected too.
Oh yeah.
Like full body cell. Like,
yes.
Like it's the funniest. Like anytime it's been like, "Liam, no." And you just see that. It's like a cartoon, dude. It's like Charlie Brown walking back like.
That's right. That's right.
Head down, full cell, man. He is all in.
So he's looking at those and deflates, and he, you know, looks at me. He's like, you know, he's just totally just a lump on a log now. And he gives the glasses back, and I said, "Yeah, those look good." And while he was trying them on, she like leans over to me and kind of quietly was like, "You know, he's really got to like the glasses, or he's just not going to wear them." And I said, "Excuse me?" And she said, "Yeah, you know, my daughter, she's 3, and gosh, she likes the ugliest glasses. But you know, if I don't let her wear the ones she wants, she's just not going to wear them, and then it's all for nothing." And it was like, "Okay, I'm sorry. How you do whatever you do with your 3-year-old is not the way that it works in my house."
Yeah.
So like, save the parenting advice. I don't know what you think you're doing here, but I'm here to buy glasses.
Those are the same parents who end up like buying a pizza on Thanksgiving just for that one kid because they won't eat like turkey and they won't eat any of the food that's been prepared.
The other 11 people here are going to have Thanksgiving dinner, but you know, Harper over in the corner, she doesn't eat anything but chicken nuggets. So you know, what do we do? We're just going to make chicken. No, she's going to go hungry.
Yeah,
right.
You'll get hungry enough, you'll eat it. You'll find something. It's not like we're making tofu and rice cakes.
Yes.
Right? Like there's a spread. Eat all bread. Put olives on your fingers until we're all out of olives. I don't care, but eat something that's on the freaking table.
That has been a saying at my house since my kids could like cry about food.
Yeah.
Is like, "It's okay. You don't have to eat it." And then they get all excited and it's like, "Well, can I have this?" No.
Oh no,
you can
exactly.
no, you can have what's in front of you, but I don't want it. That's okay, because at some point you're going to be hungry enough to want it.
Yeah.
So I'm okay waiting for that time. If you
Our kids are old enough now that now the line has shifted, because we had kind of that same thing. The line has shifted to you make your own darn dinner.
That's
like,
right. Yes.
You know,
yeah, food's in there.
You're 13, 14 years old. You don't like what we made? That's fine. Make your own food.
Dude, I'm
out. Oh, that's infuriating.
Floored. I felt like I was in like a bad sitcom.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm legitimately standing here closest to you. Liam's over there by the mirror, and I'm saying, let's just get black glasses. And you completely ignored me, talked to my 6-year-old as though he is the one here making decisions about where and how we spend our money.
That's because in her house, the kid probably is, right?
And it's like, and it's people like that you're going to feed him things against what his parent is saying and getting him all amped up. And then when he melts down, you're going to think that it's because of me. But it's not. I set the example. And it's like, listen, lady, I know he doesn't have glasses. And I said this, I get he doesn't have glasses on his face. So maybe you think this is our first time. He's worn glasses for over 2 years. He's going to wear the glasses that I give him. Like, this isn't a discussion. This isn't, I don't know what's happening here, but I'm the one that makes decisions for my family. Right. So what are we doing? So we get back to the table. We both have our boxes now of the maybes, and so I'm trying to find ways so that I don't just completely crush Liam in front of, other people out in the open. God, that sounds like I do it behind closed doors. I know how embarrassing it can be when you have a meltdown in public.
Yes.
Right. For him as well.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, how can I handle this now sensitively, without like letting Liam get his way? What's a way that I could do it? And so I'm having him try it on. And I said, Liam, look, I gotta level with you, bud. You're not getting the red and black glasses, but I think if you really look at them and try to look at them like the right way, you're going to see that they're not the right glasses for you anyways. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I said, well, put them on and look in the mirror. And he did. And he looked. I said, you see how they're shaped? You see how they're kind of like ovals and they don't really look like right on your face? And he was like, well, no. And I said, okay, we'll do this because we all have to do this at some point in our lives. Look in the mirror, look at the shape of them, look at how they fit on your face, and really get that in your memory. And he's like looking, and he says, okay. I said, all right, now close your eyes. And he closes them, and I take off the glasses and I put on the other ones, right? And it's like, okay, now open your eyes and look at these. And it was the black ones. And he looked at them and he said, yeah, I like these better. And I was like, yeah, I do too. And I think you should. Like, they fit better on your face. They're better glasses. You
successfully gaslit your son.
That's right. That's 100%. But he did it.
That's just change your thinking on this and make you think it was your idea.
That's right. That's the great part, is that to him, now it's his idea. It's not an argument. It's not a problem. He gave the red and black glasses to the nurse. She's not a nurse. I don't know what they are.
Don't give her that kind of credit.
Yeah, seriously. Do they even need any kind of certification? You're an iFrame salesperson is what you are. And not a good one, in my opinion.
I love that with all your sales history too, that you're a little snobby, like about the sales position.
Very, very snobby. Well, because look, dude,
she's probably not even commissioned.
That's right. I say this to clients and prospects. I'm a sales manager that hates salespeople.
Yeah.
Right. I hate, like, I want people on I have people on my team. It's not just that I have people on my team that they know their role is to listen to the client, find out what the needs and objectives are, and figure out how to meet them. And if she had listened to the person that was there, she would have helped that entire experience be better, instead of trying to force like the opinions of a 6-year-old. Right.
She obviously didn't. She was only, well, I guess she kind of was, but like she was asking discovery questions to the person who not making the decision.
Right? So this is going to top the whole thing in a great way. So Liam hands the glasses back, and she looked disappointed She looked like she got beat when she got the red and black glasses back, and the 6-year-old saying he doesn't want it. Like, okay, I mean, if you don't want to have any fun in your life, like, okay. So she puts the glasses aside and she says, okay, so you want the black ones? And it was like, yes. So she starts doing all the paperwork, and we get to a place and she says, oh, something's not right. So, well, it's not right. She does a little more clicky clacking on the keyboard, and she says, hang on, I got to go talk to somebody. She gets up, she walks away, she starts talking to somebody else on the floor, and I see heads getting shook and like things being said. She comes back and says, sorry, it looks like with your insurance, there's only one brand that is approved for children's eyewear. And I was like, what? And she said, yeah, she said, there's only one. No, God, that would have been great. She says, there's only one brand, and it's this brand, and here's the frames that they have. There's only two. There's only two choices. One is like oval, really thin wire framed.
Oh yeah.
Think Harry Potter.
Yeah.
They looked kind of Harry Potter-ish. The other one was like the thick black style glasses that you think I would be more of a fan of. But these were like super thick and chunky and also really narrow rectangles. Almost had, in my opinion, like a beatnik type look to it. Like, he's going to go to a slam poetry meeting as soon as we leave here. I hated both of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, here's another problem, right? Like, you had all of my insurance information before you came and got us and put us through this exercise to begin with.
Why wouldn't you narrow it down from the get-go?
That's right. So how much better of an experience this could have been, and we would have avoided all of the you hyping my kid up on the red and black glasses had we known up front we only had two choices.
Yeah.
Right. And so it started to just go off the rails because I said, okay, well, so you're saying that this is what my insurance will cover 100% of for children's eyewear. It's not for mine. I could have anything in the store, but for some reason, and I still don't know why, my insurance has stricter requirements when it comes to children's eyewear. It was like, okay, so my insurance will cover 100%. How much would it cover, or what is my cost out the door if I want the ones that we already selected we wanted for my son? And she's like, yeah, I know that's a good question. I don't know what they're, these are the only ones that your insurance is going to cover. No, I hear what you're saying. I'm asking, what is it going to cost me if I want the ones that now my son is sold on?
Yeah.
Right, that I already know.
Somebody walks in with no insurance and says, I want to buy these. What's the cost? Are we talking $200?
She was like, great question. Yeah. I mean, I wish I had that information. I don't know what they're going to cover, and it's like, I don't understand where the disconnect is here. So if you're saying my insurance isn't going to cover anything, and I think that's what you're saying, maybe that's the part you don't know that you don't have an answer to. But if my insurance isn't going to cover anything, what am I going to pay?
Yeah.
For these glasses?
How much?
Right. and dude, I want to, like, I'm not overselling this. Probably 5 times we had to go back and forth with that same conversation before she finally was like, oh, let me look. And I kid you not, she looks at the frames, at the sticker, and pulls out a calculator, and she starts typing things out. And then she looks on the computer and starts typing things out. And she says, with the lenses that you wanted, which are the anti-glare, all of that stuff, and these frames, it's $457. And I said, okay, like if I'm not mistaken, you just looked at the sticker and you added things up. And she said, yes. And I was like, okay, I think we all know in healthcare, God, if that's what we want to call it, it's an eye doctor place, right? Get out of here. I think we all know that because you bill things through insurance, any of us that have friends in healthcare know this, right? Because insurance takes 3 to 6 months to ever pay you anything. Sure. So you mark things up like crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're looking at a sticker and you're saying that I'm going to pay $457 out of pocket, something's wrong. There's got to be something you can do to make this better. Yeah, sorry. I mean, I wish there was. And it was like, okay, what I need you to do is write down my son's prescription, and I'm just gonna go somewhere else. This has been a waste. This has been a complete waste of time. And I kid you not, she said, well, your insurance is covering one of these anyway, so why don't you just pick one and you can go with one of those? No, that's okay. I won't be picking anything. I just want my son's
Yeah,
prescription written on a piece of paper, and I'm going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, because if you do that, then they're still getting paid.
You guys are still making money on that.
And the idea is you're frustrated enough with your experience. I don't want you to make any more money on this transaction.
No. If I could take back all of the pleasant experiences I've had for years based on this one interaction, I would.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. I'm upset that I had a copay when I walked in here now.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Dude, it was crazy to me. And so, kid you not, got his prescription, came home, went to
did you go Zenny?
Zenny. Is it Zenny?
Yeah, that's where I get all mine.
Yeah, went to Zenny.
These are from Zenny. Plug to Zenny. Newest sponsor of the... No, they don't give us anything.
So still think the eye place that we go to is fantastic outside of this one employee. We went on Zenny, put in his prescription. You know, they require the measurement.
Yep.
In order to get the glasses right.
John, I kid you not. I have 15 pair of glasses that I've gotten all from Zenny's.
We didn't have... We were able to print out and take the measurement, but I was a little skeptical about my ability to measure like the distance of his pupils. And I know we just had an eye exam where we did all of that digitally. And so we called back to the eye exam place, got somebody else, you know, at the front and just said, hey, look, I'm looking to order frames online. I need the distance. I think it's probably somewhere in his eye exam. Seconds, they gave us that number. And they're like, oh yeah, put this number in. You're good. And gave me the right to left and all of that stuff. So we were able to plug it in. So now Liam has 3 pairs of glasses on the way, one of which is the fun colors that he likes, right? It's like, dude, yeah. And all of them have the anti-reflective lenses. And for 3 pairs of glasses, obviously not covered under insurance because you're paying out of pocket, $120.
Yeah.
And that's expensive because each one had like $30 lenses that we put in with all the added crap. If we had just got frames with his prescription and nothing added to the lens, you're at like $8 or something a pair of glasses. It's insane. And
I have pairs of glasses from Zenny that I got for $9.95.
Yeah, exactly.
I just did all the cheapest frame. Like I just wanted a funky color just to be weird for something. And I have some of those.
Yeah, so that was my experience, and it just made me think, like, the audacity, right? What age are we living in where you think it's appropriate to push your bad parenting on a complete stranger in a service industry where you're supposed to be helping somebody, like pay for a service? It just floored me, dude. It just floored me. That's the era we're living in now.
Well, what I love is if you see this lady around town and, is it in your town? Is that where this eye place is? I'm trying not to say the name of where you live in case you don't want that. I don't remember if we said that previously.
It's out of town.
Okay. I was gonna say, cause you're in kind of that small town. So I could just see you like at that Rose Hours or whatever. And you see her and he's wearing the red and blue ones and you're just like, get those off.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Just totally out of spite. That's Karen. Take your glasses off. Wow.
Yeah. So a couple things that are good. No, we do drive out of our way to go to this place because because of the experience we'd had historically, right? It's warranted us making a longer trip to get there. And then the other part about this is because we all had masks on. I don't know if I'd even recognize her other than her haircut.
Oh, okay.
Right. But, but mask on and like scrubs. I mean, come on, but seriously, like, what are you guys doing? You saving patience back there? Or are you like, you just hear, I see everybody in this room walking people around and looking at frames. What are the scrubs for? I don't know.
Are you just covering the floor in between eye surgeries that you're assisting with back there?
I asked the doctor about eye surgery and he said, no, we don't do that here. We would recommend you to one of our partners if you needed it. So what are you doing? What are you all doing in your OR scrubs? Right? Get out of here.
These are sales scrubs.
These are sales
scrubs.
Yeah. Oh, are they?
Well, speaking of healthcare, I had a little thing. This was a true like a dad moment.
Okay.
So Tamara, my wife, was on a backpacking trip for the last like 5 days. She was gone
I
for like
saw
almost
the
a week.
pictures that she posted online. It looks awesome.
Yeah, Eagle Cap Wilderness or something like that down in Oregon. And so she's out of cell range, completely like unreachable.
Real quick, I know this isn't part of your story, but how come you don't ever seem to go on those trips with her?
Well, this one was because we just got back from vacation.
Okay.
And so, I've already, I started a new job in the end of June, and I've literally taken 2 vacations already that I had pre-scheduled, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then sometimes I don't go on those trips because it's something like her dad and her sister go. And it's like, that's just kind of really cool, like quality time for them.
Gotcha. Okay.
I also struggle a little bit with the pacing of backpacking. I would rather go trail run that. Be like, hey, cool.
You think backpacking's too slow?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know how impatient I am. Like,
no, I get it.
So like, if we're like, okay, we're going to hike this, it's, it's 10 miles or whatever. Like, cool. Well, I can run that in like just over an hour. So let's freaking go. Like, well, no, that's not what you do.
We called that humping, which is kind of funny. But if you were going on a hump, you would have the 80-pound, pack on, and you're
like walking, fast hiking kind of.
You're walking, but it's. We used to not joke, but it was kind of funny in boot camp because when you would be in a platoon formation, you would be in order basically from tallest to shortest. And so it was pretty messed up because the pace that you would go with these packs on, all of the short people in the back are basically running the entire time because it's like an accordion, right?
Yeah.
And they're just, basically sprinting. Those guys had it really, really rough. But sorry, go. So I know what you mean though about the impatience. Like if I'm out there, I'm cooking,
Yeah, so I have a hard time. I've done a little bit with her, and it's just harder for me. Like, yeah. So I do want to go on some of those, but I would just, because a lot of trail running is actually like you're running, hiking. Like if it's uphill, like you walk it, like, so we did a hike one time. It was a 20-mile hike. Just her and I went camping like 2 summers ago. And like, we did the 10-mile hike, it was a down and back. So then on the way back, we're like, we could probably just run the downhills. And then, dude, before I know it, we probably ran like 8 of those 10 miles. Dude, we're just like, let's just go. And I'm like, I don't know. I just love running. I ran 11 miles yesterday.
Yeah,
like, I don't know. I just like to run. I'm not fast. Are you able
to also sit? Yeah, like, because I feel like part of the problem would be once you get to where you're going, are you able to like, I'm just going to take this in. I'm just going to sit down.
No.
I'm just going to enjoy.
Nope. Not even. No, I'm terrible at that. I am so bad at that. And that's the thing is too, like there's like a burn ban. So it's not like you can sit around the fire and I can just sit there and poke sticks full of moss like in there to kill the time. So like you're literally just sitting there. And like she said, her sister and her boyfriend went on that trip too. And they were like going to bed at like 6:30 just because it was kind of cold. And some days I think it was like a little like it was just kind of cold and a little wet. And there's like, we're just gonna go in and we'll just play a podcast until we fall asleep. And Tamara's like just wanting to take it all in, and I would just be like, I'm so freaking bored. Like I didn't even bring a guitar or something. Like, what am I doing? Like, So I
have a little bit of that. Which is why I thought you probably have a lot of it. Like I love going, I love seeing the site, but once I've seen it, I've seen it.
Right. So it's like, let's move.
I remember years ago with my ex wife, we took this trip down to like Klamath Falls, and then we drove down to Crater Lake. And I remember, driving in the snow and like in this line up a hill and trying to get to where the viewing point for Crater Lake was. And we finally got there, dude. I swear I was driving for hours. And we finally get there. We get pulled over, walk out and look. And I kid you not, it was like, yep, exactly like the postcard. Like, let's go. Like I was done. What else am I going to do? Like just sit here. And so I thought that would be a problem for you. I'm sorry. We totally rabbit trailed, but I was just curious.
But I have no chill. I have no chill. I just don't. I know that. So like, I'm good at, if we want a trail run or something, like if we can't make a fire, and the one backpacking trip that Tamara and Judah and I went and did, and we stayed the night and we camped out, we were able to have fires. And so I was like, cool. I was just like hunting for firewood. I'm like, just grabbing stuff. I'm like, you know, breaking up branches. Like that gave me something to do. Keep the fire going. I would have been miserable on this. Just like, so we're just gonna like stay here till tomorrow so we can hike and, you know,
this is it.
Yeah, like 5 days we could get this done in like 2. Let's go. Let's hustle. So anyway, so she's gone. Yeah, she's gone, and my daughter texts me. So some backstory: my little girl is now a woman.
Crazy.
Okay, so officially, so
that's big news.
Yeah. And so she texts me, and because that's new, I think in the last like few months, I get a text from my wife one day that says, well, your daughter's a woman, and I was like, geez. Okay, like
sure all of the women listening appreciate the gag reflex on that.
So then Tamara, to just push my uncomfort even further, follows up with another text. She can now bear children. I'm like, stop it. Stop it. Like, now you're just messing with me. Cut it out. So this is new. Like, I don't know. Last few months.
Okay.
So my daughter texts me, and for anybody listening, I asked my daughter if I could share this story. So I'm not just talking about my daughter's period on this podcast without like her knowing.
That'd be pretty messed up.
Yeah. I was trying to ask about that stuff. Like I asked my son if I could make fun of Squatch Fest because I'm like, I know this means a lot to you. I'm gonna make fun of this.
Listen to that episode, by the way.
Oh no, they don't care.
Perfect. So, okay, they don't care. Great. I didn't know if his feelings were hurt.
And not to mention, like my daughter has a much larger following online than we do. With her 6,000 YouTube subscribers.
I'm one of her subscribers.
Me too. So she's like, I don't have time for your podcast because like I have legions of fans. So who sent her like
a plug? Maybe if she could throw us a plug like, on occasion, that'd be cool.
Sweet girl. Do you think you could plug Daddy's podcast to all your 12-year-old dragon fans?
What age are we living in right now?
So anyways, she texts me, hey Dad, like, do you think like tomorrow we could go to the store? And I'm like, why? What do you need? She's like, I need girl supplies. And I'm like, okay. So we had to go get some stuff anyways. And so she needed like another pair of pants for back to school. So I was like, cool, we'll go to Penny's. They're like everything. Penny's is always having like an 80% off sale because they're either bad at purchasing or they're just bad at like initial pricing, or that's just a really dumb marketing strategy.
Yes.
And even if you're listening, if you've ever paid full price for anything at JCPenney's, you're a moron.
Maybe it's a moron. Maybe it's a genius pricing strategy because I bet if you look at the oh God, I'm blanking on the words I need today. Big why use big words when small words do trick? You look at the statistics of who shops at Penny's, right? It's probably statistically speaking in larger part women. Okay, shopping at JCPenney's.
And most of my clothes are from Penny's, including this polo, which I bought 4 different colors of, $7.50 each.
Okay, so in large part, outside of the outliers like Nick,
like
right?
The cheapskates.
Not just my wife today, but pretty much every woman I've been with in my past life. I always would hear the famous saying of, look at how much I saved today.
Sure.
Right? Is that, hey, look at how much I saved. I mean,
I'm sure that's their strategy.
And maybe that is, right? It's like, hey, no, look at how much you can save. Kohl's is like that. They always would circle the receipt. I did it one time and I thought it was hilarious, but I also felt like a jerk. They circled the receipt and said, you saved, $63.41 today. And I took a pen and I circled it back to them. And I said, you made $230 like today.
I didn't save anything.
That's what happened. You made this amount. I didn't save anything.
Well, I do know that in this last year, the last year or two, JCPenney was they got put in a lawsuit for some of their pricing.
Really?
Yeah. Because it was something about the way they were saying like original price was this, but it's on sale for this. And so they got in trouble. So something about like the way they price and stuff, they got in trouble.
I'm looking at it. It says they used false regular and original prices for its private and exclusive brand products.
Okay. Yeah. That's their St. John's Bay.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So.
Oh, dude, I was just talking about Kohl's. They were included on that.
Okay.
JCPenney, Sears, Macy's, and Kohl's all sued.
Yeah.
Good. Dude, I felt like that's such BS.
Yeah. When I taught marketing, dude, I used to make fun of JCPenney's all the time. Like, and I tell my students, don't ever pay sticker price for anything at JCPenney.
Right.
Wait a day. Right. There's going to be like a 60% off sale that starts the next day.
Yep.
Like, you're a moron if you pay full price for anything there. Just an absolute moron.
So many rabbit trails, but I mean, I love it.
So anyways, so we go over, I was like, hey, so there's Safeway, there's Target, like, you know, where do you want to go? We can get your stuff, right? Like we're right here.
Yeah.
And she's like, we just go into Target. And so we get in there and I'm like, all right, go get what you need. And you kind of walk down, all that stuff's over there. Now keep in mind, I've been married for almost 20 years, John. I never once have ever gone and bought feminine products for my wife.
Same.
Wouldn't do it.
No.
She'd be like, oh, you know.
I wouldn't say I wouldn't do it. I will do it. If at any point in time, Ashley said, hey, I really need tampons or whatever
sure.
I don't even know what she uses. But if she said I need these, and I would just say, well, show me what it is.
Yeah.
I'll go get it. I don't care. I'll go, but I've never had to.
I probably would now.
We're married to adults. Right.
Sure.
She knows what she needs. She's out. She gets it.
I was 21 years old when I got married. So like I would have been way too embarrassed to go and buy that stuff for her. And I know that doesn't reflect well on me. Be like, that's pathetic. Yeah. I'm 21. Just being honest here.
20, that's right.
Yeah.
We were all
21
when we were 21.
I didn't even have a fully formed prefrontal cortex yet. Like it was all still, so anyways, like if my wife then had been like, oh, it hurts. I need you, you know, it's going to start. I need, like, oh, you're probably going to bleed out then. Like, and I don't think medically that's how that even works, but I especially didn't know that when I was 21.
Of the story, that's exactly how this works. Sorry about your luck.
Yeah. Use some Band-Aids or something. I don't know.
We're the same blood type. So I'm not going to be able to help you here. Take some iron supplements.
Listen, I don't trust anything. I don't trust anything that bleeds 12 weeks a year and doesn't die. Okay.
What is that?
I can't remember. Is that South Park?
Oh, I think it is. It's something maybe Cartman says. I know. I remember.
Was it Mr. Garrison?
Right. It's something like, yes, Mr. Garrison. Yes. It's terrible.
Mr.
So
Garrison.
funny.
So anyway, we get there and she's like, I don't know what mom bought me. And I'm like, so I know nothing about this stuff.
You could have maybe grabbed one before you left and been like, okay, this is the thing that
we could have looked at the package, the box, like, all right, we need these, right? She's like, I don't know what she, they're pads, but I don't know. And so I'm like, okay, I know nothing about these. And so I'm looking, and
Tamara's out in the middle of nowhere. So it's not like
can't text her.
Yeah.
And so, dude, I'm like, okay, well, I'm about to get an education on this stuff because I know nothing. And so I'm looking and there's like the super duper thick ones. And I was like, well, do you know like about how thick they were? And she's like, well, they definitely weren't that thick. I'm like, okay, well, that's something to go on.
Opening boxes and like taking them out. And
I'm sitting on them. I'm like on the aisle, like, huh. Okay, well, that feels squishy. How squishy
throwing
does
it in your shorts, like
like punching. Okay, that's like an MMA glove.
Right.
Was it? Did it feel like an MMA glove? Did you put them on your fists and like punch the wall? Because I definitely would have, but that's why boys don't have things like that.
That's right.
So I'll just say, like, dude, I'm studying these things and I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Like, what are we doing? I am the least equipped person to help you with this problem.
Right.
And so finally I'm like, do you happen to have one with you? And she's like, I might. And so she digs one out and there's one. Well, it doesn't have a name brand on it or anything. There's no this model number. There's nothing like that
at all.
Except I see it's got 5 tiny little pictures on it.
Okay.
And they're like in the shape of a pad. And the first one is yellow and the rest are like silhouetted, right? So it's clearly like an indicator that it's like 1 of 5. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I don't know what that means. And then I start looking at all the boxes and I'm like, okay, they all have like that. They all use that same little like picture.
Yeah.
I was
so
like
a 3 picture that are yellow, 3 yellow, 2 silhouetted.
Yes.
Right? Or okay.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. And so we're like looking and I'm like, okay, now we just got to find the ones and we ended up finding them. I was like, all right, well, hey. And she's like, well, I don't know what brand. I was like, I don't think the brand's going to matter. Like, listen, I'm not an expert, but I'm pretty sure the brands don't matter on this.
That's right. Not an expert, but I did just crack this code. So I think I'm qualified to make this call here.
I mean, I pretty much just cracked the Da Vinci Code.
That's right.
I mean, so I'm pretty much doing like scientific research over here.
Right.
And
That's right.
We're making some huge
circle back
leaps.
to the Good Will Hunting reference. You're basically got equations going around in your entire head.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I got this.
So we ended up figuring it out. And then we get home and she looks and she goes, because I was like, I don't care. And she's like, well, I don't know. Is there a cheaper one? I was like, honey, I so do not care about the money now.
That doesn't matter.
I want to get out of this aisle.
Right.
And I don't want to be doing this with you anymore. Because as dad, I'm still like wigged out that like my baby girl's a woman.
I'm surprised you didn't just find a random woman.
I thought about it. That went through my head.
Dude, I think women would live for that moment. Be like, they'd be telling that story for the rest of their life about, this dad, and he came up to me and he didn't know what to do, and it was so
no,
cute,
except for their story. Their story would be like, this frazzled dad came up and was like, hey, lady, you have a vagina, right? Come here.
You bleed from down there, don't you?
I have to ask because apparently not all women have vaginas.
Oh, so that's right.
It's 2021 now.
But all people can menstruate.
Can they?
I don't know. That's the world we're living in. It's the So
anyway,
the day though, man.
I saved the day, and it was just this really funny. Like, and to me, I was thinking about that. I was like, you know what? That is like, if my wife wanted me to go stand in the tampon aisle with her, like I most of the time would just be like, yeah, I'm gonna leave and go over here and look at like guns, something. I don't care. And but yeah, it's just so different. The compassion, like as a dad, you're just like, okay,
yeah.
I'm willing to suck it up and do some things that like, if this were your mom, I'd be like, I don't know, you figure it out. Like
That's so funny. I don't want to say the opposite because I think we're very similar in so many different ways, but that part of like being a man has never had any like real sway on me. I just don't care. You know what I mean? It's like,
you're not as toxically masculine as me, is what you're saying.
You're super toxic, Nick.
You know what? I am not Portland worthy enough to be wearing this hat right now. I'm gonna put some lotion on my hands. Okay?
That's right.
I'm gonna push my cuticles back like a man, like men do. And so yeah, that was my maxi pad shopping trip with my daughter. That was fun.
Well, I'm glad you were able to help her and get that sorted. You're a good man.
Okay.
Toxicity and all.
Toxicity and all. Let's see. Toxic shock syndrome masculinity. Is that a thing? Well, you know how like with the tampons, they can get toxic shock syndrome.
Oh no, I didn't know.
That's the thing. If they don't change them regularly enough, that's like an actual thing that their body can go into shock. And so perhaps when it comes to that stuff, when I get wigged out and I get all guy like freaked out about it, perhaps it's toxic shock syndrome masculinity.
I don't think that just in general we appreciate what women experience.
Oh, I'm sure. I think I'm making that abundantly clear with the story.
Oh man.
They think we can bleed out from a period.
That's right. He doesn't know what toxic shock syndrome is.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right. let's
right. Yeah, what do we got today?
Let's take a look. We're gonna do some news stories. So let me play that. I gotta play it, John.
Hit it.
You've got news.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Beauty.
So I was looking for some. I wasn't even looking for them, but like I came across a couple news stories that came across my Facebook feed actually.
Okay.
And ironically, like one of them was from like just the last week, and then apparently the Facebook algorithm just assumed that this first one that I'm going to show, it's like 2 years old.
Oh,
I had never heard of it, but they just assumed that like, oh, even though this is 2 years old, based on Nick's like patterns and his friends and his stupid comments and the pages he follows,
the algorithm was like, he's going to love this 2-year-old story.
And they were right. Okay.
Great.
And they were right. I was all about it. So
perfect.
This first one here, boom. Albany woman accused of feeding bean dip laced with meth to co-workers at grocery store. That is fantastic.
Man, I mean, I don't know how much we want to, but I feel like there's just so much to unpack there.
Yeah.
One, she looks like, I don't know what the type would be that would like feed bean dip that's laced with meth to co-workers at a grocery store.
Sure.
But I feel like if there was a lineup of people and you said, pick the one that best represents this sentence.
Yeah, we'd be like,
I think she fits the bill.
Yeah.
Right? Like she absolutely matches it. But part of me just wonders, like, one, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm not into drugs, but I feel like, you know, meth costs money. And for people that are into drugs, that's a big part of their daily routine.
It's precious.
Thank you.
They're not going to waste that.
Right. So what's the goal there? Like who comes up with the idea that, or maybe she did it for herself, right? And then was like in the break room and all of a sudden her coworkers came and was like, oh, bean dip, huh? And then she was like, okay, yeah, like help yourself, you know? And now everybody's just tweaked out of their mind.
Maybe they were going to start randomly drug testing and she's like, I know, plausible deniability. I ate this bean dip too. Like, oh, there was meth in it. We're all cracked out.
How did they find out? It's just everybody just won't shut up. They're all just talking 100 miles a minute. They're like chomping on gum until it liquefies in their mouth and just like, you know.
It was because they restocked and rotated all of the inventory and unloaded the truck in record time.
They're usually so unproductive, and this was a record day.
The checkers are like, and go.
And then she's standing there like, oh, I had meth in my bean dip. That's, now that you mention it, that adds up. And then she got reported.
John, serious question though. Does that make it Methkickin cuisine?
Oh man.
Methkickin.
I like the Methkickin because it had to kick in. Like it took a minute and then it kicked in. That works on multiple layers.
We operate, our level of comedic genius operates on multiple levels.
Yeah, we could call it like a 7-layered bean dip.
Yeah. So it turns out this story here says that one of the employees went to the doctor feeling
like
ill.
they were on meth.
Like, yeah, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that they were like, you know, just, but they definitely weren't feeling right. And I don't know, like, can meth be just absorbed by eating it like that? Like, does it have to be smoked? Does it have to be like, okay. So it's just, if it gets in the body, it'll work.
People snort it. People could smoke it. People can inject it. There's so many different ways. Yeah. You could just eat it. It would cause a reaction. Sure.
Okay. So they felt ill and then she got somebody they ended up at the hospital. And then they thought that might have been, I don't know if they tested them or what they did. But like they had methamphetamines in their system. Sure. And then another employee had gone to the doctor, complained of feeling ill, and I don't know how, but they're like, well, what did you eat? Was it food poisoning? And they all just kind of traced it back to like, hey, you know, that kind of sketch girl that works in the deli? I ate her bean dip. So it doesn't say in this article, but like, what if it was like somebody was stealing her lunch?
Yes, I was just going to say that. What if this was retaliation? What if it was like every time I get on lunch, I see half my bean dip gone, and I wanted that for lunch. And so then she's like, you know what? I'm lacing it, and let's just see what happened. True
story. My sister, when she was in middle school, she was going to a private school. Okay. And somebody kept stealing,
she put her meth in her lunch.
Somebody they were stealing. My mom would always put like a treat in your lunch. So there'd be like the sandwich, the, fruit gummies, but then there was a treat, and somebody kept stealing like stuff out of my sister's lunch. And I think specifically the little desserts that she was like packing in there.
Kids aren't taking the PB&J. Like they're taking the ho-hos.
Like the little candy bar. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yes.
So my dad, my freaking dad, classic dad move. Okay. This is in the 90s. He goes, well, I can fix that. So he goes to the grocery store and buys those chocolate X-Lax bars.
Oh, yes.
Opens it up, scratches off the part that says like X-Lax and kind of like smooths it over. Like, if I'm remembering this right, feel free to correct me, Dad, because I know they listen to this. But that's the way I remember it, was that like making sure it didn't say
make
X-Lax.
it look the part, right?
Yeah. And either put it in some other candies, like wrapping like a Hershey's bar or something, or had it just wrapped in foil so that like you didn't know what it was.
You could have just unwrapped them and had them in like a Ziploc. And maybe the kid's gonna just go to town on that.
So the next day, so my sister knows, like, don't eat the chocolate, it's gonna make you poop.
Right.
And so next day, her chocolate's gone. And she was pretty sure she knew who it was. One of her friends was actually doing it.
Yeah.
And so she comes home and she's like, Dad, somebody took the X-Lax. And my dad's just like, yes. Feel just so like proud of himself. And then the following day, my sister's, one of her friends comes up and is like, hey, Amy, I just want to let you know, like, so yesterday I was just really snacky and I was looking for something. And I actually ended up taking some chocolate out of your lunch. But I don't think, make sure you don't eat any of that candy at home, because like it made my stomach hurt really bad. We're just cracking up as she's telling us this story, and my dad's just total proud of himself.
Oh, 100%.
Just nailed 100%. It. So yeah.
Have you seen the movie Stand By Me?
Long time ago.
Okay. There's a story in Stand By Me where they're having the pie eating contest.
Yeah.
And the kid like gets everybody to start throwing up, and then like sits back with this look of pride while everybody's puking around him. And that's what I pictured, is like this just absolute look of pride. Like, got her.
I used to, so when I worked at, I was a Nordstrom's barista.
Okay.
Back in college. Okay. They had like a little coffee
shops
thing
in Nordstrom's back then. Okay.
Yeah. And, you're making
interesting place to put a little coffee shop, but
yeah, it was always outside of the women's shoe department, and they did like big business at the women's shoe department. So like,
that makes sense.
The Portland Trailblazers, like the wives of like Portland Trailblazers basketball players, would come in and like buy hundreds of dollars of shoes. Like not all of them, but like
and have some coffee while they're there.
It was at least once a week. Somebody would be like, oh, that one guy's.
Did they tip well?
Yeah. They were pretty good. And they usually had like 8 kids running around too. It was like always big families. Kids are just used to having a whole mansion to run around up in the West Hills. Well, so I was working there, minimum wage, and like, man, how much sugar and calories people were like putting in these. So
sure.
I never messed with anybody's drink, like to add anything. Like I never hawked a loogie in anyone's drink or anything. Okay. I never did anything like that. But one passive,
makes me sick just thinking about it.
Yeah. One passive aggressive thing that I did used to do, John, is if somebody came and they ordered a drink and they were like obese,
sure,
I would just give them non-fat milk. Like didn't even ask. Just like, you know what? And if there was a sugar-free option,
I'm doing you a solid.
Yes, exactly. And I would just crack up to myself. This was 18-year-old me just giggling. Like, I was like, I gotcha. And I'm just like, you're going to die. You should not be eating, like, you're taking in a whole day's worth of calories. And some of those drinks, man, it is insane. So, they're basically a milkshake. So that was that was probably like I had friends who would like if you left your food in the cafeteria, they would like hock a loogie down your straw. So the first drink,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to make my stomach turn. Just
seen some things. I never did anything like that, but I did substitute the non-fat milk for the beef cakes.
Dude, you've got me thinking now because, I'm not a small person, Nick. I'll just say that. Okay. I don't know if you've seen me, but I'm not a small person.
Sure.
Occasionally I will indulge in a drink from Starbucks. And I don't think it's anything major, but over time, it's gotten a little bit more, sweet. All right, in the tooth. Let us say.
Okay.
And all it is this: it's a cold brew with oat milk, vanilla, and the vanilla sweet vanilla cold foam on top.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if you've had that, but that's it. That's the drink. Okay.
I drink black coffee.
It's just cold brew. And it's not like an everyday thing, but on occasion it's like, you know what? Yeah. Because otherwise, I mean, as odd as it might seem, if it's just day to day, it's just black coffee in a cup for me.
Yeah.
And that's what I have. But every now and then I'll say, I'm kind of in the mood for that. We'll go to Starbucks and get a cold brew, oat milk, vanilla, and the cold foam on top, which is like this sweetened foam that they put over the it's not whipped cream, but it's anyways, it's unique, it's sweet, all of that. I'm not kidding, man. I'd say maybe 4 times out of 10, I'll get that drink and I'll start driving home, and it's like, this isn't sweet at all. At all. This isn't even remotely close to what I'm used to tasting.
Yeah.
And now I wonder, is there somebody looking at the like they hear me order from
some
the background?
Self-righteous college kid like me.
They have the videos now on the drive up. So they're like listening through their ears, ear monitors or whatever, and they hear me ordering and they go, wait, sweet cream cold foam? And they look back over the shoulder of the person, like, no, that fat ass. You're getting regular, right? And dude, it kind of is clicking now, because Ashley will back me up on this. There's times where like she'll bring me one and it's like, what the hell is this? And it's like, no, it's what we always order. No, this doesn't taste anything like what we always order. And to back up my feelings about myself, Ashley said one of the most hurtful things I think anybody's ever said to me as an adult the other day.
What was that?
She has been complaining the last couple of days because her feet hurt. And I mean, every time she gets up off her butt, it's, oh, my feet. Oh God, my feet. She's limping.
In all fairness, her feet are like this big, dude. She's
4'11",
I know.
packing some weight, man. Like you're putting some pressure on those puppies, and they're not going to last that long. All right. So she's hobbling around the house complaining, and I got a little bit of an edge to me because of what she said. It's still a little hurtful.
Stings a little.
I'm minding my own business. In fact, I think of all things that I could think of that day, I've been nothing but a model husband in every sense of the word. So I'm just hanging out, doing my own thing. Kids are in the living room. We're having a great time. She's hobbling around behind me, complaining about how bad her feet hurt. I'm not saying a word about it. I don't think I've said anything other than, yeah, sorry, that sucks. I hope they get better. I don't know what you want. I'm not going to carry you around the house. I don't know what you want me to do about it, but I'm sorry that sucks. She's in the background behind me in the kitchen having a conversation with herself. And I kid you not, the conversation goes like this. God, I wish I knew why my feet hurt like this. I mean, I know I'm fat, but your feet don't hurt. What? The what did you just say to me? Did I do something? Did I do something to offend? Like, Are you kidding me? I'm over here having a fantastic day, and you just flew across from the top rope and shoved a knife into my heart. Sorry. I guess I'll work on it. I don't know what you want me to do, Ashley. Sorry about your stupid feet. Like, sorry, my fat got in the way of your foot pain. I don't know what you want to happen here. So
she's jealous that your feet can structurally handle
proportionally speaking. Maybe we're not the same. Okay. I don't know what you want me to say to that. So, God, okay. I genuinely have had fun with that comment for days now, and I feel a little bad if she listens to this. I have to say, hey, I'm sorry. Like, I love you. You know, I'm sorry. She's starting to feel bad because I'll constantly like throw out these passive aggressive comments, like, you know, yeah, no, I know my feet don't hurt. I'm surprised. I'm surprised I can even move around the house right now. Oh, you want me to get that for you? I mean, I'll roll the dice, but I don't know if my feet are going to be able to take it with how much of a load I'm carrying right now.
I know the grass needs to be cut, but I don't know if I want to risk a foot injury.
Yeah. Oh man. Gosh. That's a lot of walking with this weight that I'm pushing. I don't know if I should. And she's like, stop. I didn't mean it like that. And I know she didn't, but it was just, it cracked me up.
That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Food, man. I think if I'm trying to think of something gross I've done with food, there's probably a couple things come to mind. I don't know. I've not always been the nicest person to people around me, but I think one that stands out. I was in the Marines, and we spent a day sitting through training. And so think small conference room, you know, 2 people to a table and a bunch of tables lined out. We're all just sitting in our camis, getting ready to sit through training. I stopped on my way in, and I got some snacks and like orange juice. Back then, this is obviously this is an important part of the story. Back then, I chewed tobacco, right? So I constantly had like a big old chew in my lip and was spitting into a bottle. And so what I did on this particular day is I stopped and I got the orange juice because 1, I wanted it, but 2, I wanted a bottle to be able to spit in. And so I get there, I sit down, I drink about 80% of the juice because I think it's bad form to just have a bottle of black spit, like chew spit on your table.
Sure.
So I left about 20% juice in there so that I could spit into it. It wasn't like unappealing to people that might be around me. They might not realize.
Very considerate. Very considerate.
Well, part of it's too. I don't know if this is the case. I don't think it was, because back in the Marines, I don't think a lot of people cared. But there might have been an aspect of like, you're not technically supposed to be chewing while you're hanging out in that training. Okay. And so I didn't want to draw a bunch of attention to me. But either way, I've always been that way. Like, I don't think it's appropriate to just have some nasty clear bottle with your spit and you're just hanging out for everybody. I think that's kind of rude. It's already gross enough that I had a bad habit like that. So I had drank it down. I threw in a big chew. I'm spitting into the bottle. We're probably about 20 minutes before the training starts. And I'm just sitting there, waiting. We didn't have cell phones back then. So I'm just kind of hanging out, talking, whatever. And one of the guys that was in the training with me was sitting near me, and he had got snacks before the training as well. And he had a Reese's peanut butter cups. They had the pack that come with 2.
Oh yeah.
And he had eaten one, and the other one was sitting on the table in front of him. And so randomly, he leaned over and he said, "Hey, are you going to finish that orange juice?" And I was like, "Well, what do you mean? Like, what are you asking?" He said, "Well, I don't have anything to drink." And he said, "So if you weren't going to finish it, I was going to ask if you mind if I have it." And I said, "I'll tell you what, I will trade you for that extra Reese's peanut butter cup you have." And he was like, "Oh, done." He gives me a Reese's peanut butter cup, which I eat. And he just starts going to town and drinks what is probably an 80-20 ratio now of orange juice to spit. orange juice to chew spit, and this dude drinks it. Didn't think anything. It didn't even. I was shocked.
Wouldn't it be like a weird color?
I've drank my own spit, and I would still. That sounds awkward. But it's not been that mix, right? I've had spit cups where I've like spit into a beer bottle, and then like later on in the night, I drank from the spit bottle on accident. Yeah. Oh God, that turns your stomach immediately. You don't realize what happened until you feel it go down, and you're like, wait, that beer was really warm and thick. What happened? And then it hits you, and it's like, I want to puke. This, I'm not sure. I mean, we're talking one chew, so I don't know, 15 spits or so by this point.
Okay.
And a good amount of OJ in the bottom, so much so that you couldn't see any discoloration.
Okay.
But, so maybe it was just enough like orange juice that he had no clue, but I wasn't going to say anything to him. In fact, when he finished the orange juice, I said, hey, do you mind if I use the bottle as a spitter? And I got the bottle back. This is great. And looking back, I did that to another human being. Like, what the hell was wrong with me? Maybe I'm not so far off of the lady putting meth in her bean dip.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're horrible people.
Oh, man. So he never didn't think anything?
No. And I do that. This is probably the first time I've ever talked about it. I mean, never. Yeah. That's not something that ever came out.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to let me know later. I mean,
that's messed up.
Yeah. That's messed up.
That's.
I'm more like this lady than I thought at the start of this conversation. I was full of judgment.
That's
now,
right.
Not so much. A little humble pie over here.
Oh, goodness. All right, let's go to the next story here.
Oh, what do we got?
I got one more.
Okay.
This one, Coquille?
I think it's Coquille.
Coquille. Cockle. Cockile. How do you say?
I think it's Coquille. But I'm not. I don't know.
I'll just say it fast.
Yeah.
Coquille educator. Educator. That dude. So when I've announced wrestling tournaments, like when you tournaments where you're calling out the names of the people before their matches, and inevitably you're gonna get names you mispronounce, and people in the audience are always like, they love to correct you. They love to name shame you. Like, it's actually pronounced Anderson.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, okay. Right. So my trick has just become to say it super fast. All right. Coquille educator.
Coquille educator.
Called out for 12-year-old social media posts.
Fun.
Yeah. So this one just recently happened. This was just this month, a couple weeks ago, in the last couple weeks.
Okay.
So this is in Oregon. It says a new vice principal in the Coquille school district is speaking out after parents raised concerns about old social media posts. Okay. So just on its face, you're just like, oh, geez, is this another, we hear about this, the Jeopardy guy,
Jeopardy was one. The director of Guardians of the Galaxy, although I think he did post some pretty messed up stuff. I don't remember, but he
even
was
Kevin Hart,
right.
Some old jokes that he had said that he, had to come out, and even though he had already apologized for him, but then new people found it. So then apparently it can be relapsing, remitting culture shame.
That's right.
So on its head, it sounds like, oh, okay. Oh, well, what happened? So parents of students in the Coquille district reached out to our newsroom, worried about their children, and we sat down with the district to discuss the concern.
Okay.
Coquille.
This is the news. This is the news organization that said parents reached out to me as a news organization. And so I went straight to the district and said, we need to figure this out.
Because you can imagine, John, there's a lot of breaking news that comes out of Coquille, Oregon. Oregon.
Depending on the post, I mean, it could be, absolutely. That could be some bad stuff.
Yeah. And they're like, dude, we're finally going to get 100 views on an article that we do. So let's go for it.
We finally got our clickbait.
So Coquille Valley Elementary School recently hired a new vice principal.
Okay. How recent? Just know she just got hired.
I think since the last school year. So this was going to be her first school year.
Perfect.
Usually
that
those
seems to be when it happens, right? It's Jeopardy was going to bring on a new host, so immediately we have to go dig up something that makes them not
right.
You know what I mean? Qualify.
Yeah.
That's the MO. That's
and
absolutely.
typically principals for like vacancies, they're hired like in the spring,
Okay.
usually before the end of the school year or over the summer. It just depends. So says, but as parents took to social media, I should do this in like the sinister voice. But as parents took to social media to get to know her, they were shaken up by tweets.
I find just as
that she made more than a decade ago.
Yeah, I find as a sidebar, if you really want to get to know somebody, the absolute best way is to dig through 12-year-old posts they made on social media.
Well, this is where it gets...
Prove me wrong, you know? There's not a better way.
This is where it gets good, John. Campbell, it says, we're shaken up by tweets that Jeremy Campbell made more than a decade ago. This is her response. I'm deeply sorry, Campbell tells us. They were made when I was 18 years old.
Perfect.
And I really regret my lack of maturity and poor choices.
So 12 years ago, quick math, she's 30.
Yeah.
It's a she, right? Or he. You said Jeremy. Is it a guy? Is that messed up that I think Jeremy is a guy's name?
Okay.
We're probably getting hate already.
Yeah, John, I don't want our show to get canceled. We just got it rolling again. So I'm going to say that the picture, okay, let's put the picture back up. Looks like a stereotypical woman.
Okay.
Okay. And not my stereotype, John.
That's right.
Somebody's stereotype.
Somebody's stereotype.
Yeah.
It's not me.
I'm not the one pushing gender norms.
I just see some unidentifiable collection of cells. I don't.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm not sure what I'm necessarily looking at.
Exactly.
But it probably is a horrible thing for what it posted 12 years ago. Okay. So anyways, we're saying she's 30. All right.
Posted this when she was 18. John, when I was 18, I was giving non-fat milk to fat people at Nordstrom's. Okay. You were spitting in orange juice.
Let's dial it back though, because I don't know yet. I think we should still reserve judgment. This could be like she shared photos of skinned cats.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And was like, I'm hungry, or you know what I mean? Like who's coming over for dinner? Bunch of dead. I don't know. It could be anything. What did she actually post?
Parents emailing our newsroom have called her tweets disturbing. One tweet made reads.
Oh God.
I might just have to end the lives of some very young individuals.
Oh, that's her. I might just have to end the lives of
that was one of them.
Young individuals.
Yep. And so, okay. Here's the thing. So, because I thought like, well, yeah, that would be messed up. Like, was she doing her student teaching or something like that?
What's the context there?
You don't do your student teaching until the end. Like that's the last thing you do after college. So she was 18. She was not even enrolled in a teaching program at the time.
She had to have, if this is newsworthy, she had to have been able to make a statement, or did she not? Was there some kind of like where she jumps in and says, hey guys, she's talking about how she regretted her immaturity, which I think is ridiculous, by the way. I don't think you apologize to the mob, in my opinion. But she apologized. Did she say like, look, I was babysitting. It's my nieces and nephews. They're being little monsters. Anybody that has kids knows that they can be monsters. I was trying to be funny on social media.
If she said any of that, it was not reported by the experienced journalist at the Coquille newspaper. Yeah. So the person who tweeted it, Jeremy, the female Jeremy, that would be absolutely disturbing, she says. If I was a parent of a student here and parents bringing this forward, just goes to show that they really care about their student safety. Like, all right, nice pivot there.
Wow.
While she does understand,
she needs to be in like branding or marketing or something.
I know. While she does
good.
Understand, she explains that these posts from 12 years ago don't represent who she is today. The superintendent of the school district says they appreciate people bringing the concern to them, as they did do an investigation. and say, we've talked to people across the state on what's the best course of action. And the general feeling is we've hired a fine person who was a goofy teenager, which is, thankfully, that's exactly how to handle this.
Yes.
Like,
yes,
it's not like she's 50 years old and made these tweets when she was a teacher 12 years ago at 38 years old and should have known better.
Exactly.
I feel like when the tweets happened is relevant, right?
It should be, but I mean, I don't think it is in the like collective kind of mob experience that we're living in today. I think but the only way out of that is for more organizations and people in general to stop giving in. And I think that's what happened here. But that's insane to me. Like anybody over 30 that I think has more than 2 brain cells to rub together. Will easily be able to look back at their journey from 18 to 30 and see an unbelievable amount of growth and maturity and like dumb decisions. Like, dude, if you and I had things that were posted from, 20 years ago plus when we were 18, if social media was around then,
Thank God it wasn't.
Oh my God, I'd be homeless right now.
I'd be unemployable. I would be unemployable. The stupid crap that my friends and I did just to amuse only ourselves.
Yes.
Only the people in the room, let alone to make a funny video. Like if TikTok were a thing when I was in college, I would be unhireable, John.
100%. And it's crazy to me that because it seems like younger people that are doing this, younger compared to you and I, right?
Yeah.
That are on this trend of like digging through history to find things to make somebody unqualified. They're the ones that post, like you're part of the culture that puts all of your life on the internet for everybody to see. Like you're part of the machine that you're now using to try and destroy other people's lives, careers, whatever.
It's interesting. Like, I guess I never would have gone and checked and dug through 12 years of tweets.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
On like my kid's new principal who had like,
that's insane.
Who had the time to do that? What were you doing?
That's part of the problem.
It's interesting, right?
That 100%. I think what we're dealing with, and I don't want to say mentally ill. I do. Like, who am I trying to sugarcoat it for? I want to say we're dealing with some very mentally disturbed people that obviously have some internal issues that they need to sort out, right? And while the rest of us are going to therapy for those things and like trying to better ourselves, nobody is challenging these things that are absolutely insane. And what makes it worse is not only are we not challenging it, I think that's changing. So, but up to this point, have we historically not been challenging it? The culture that we live in today is encouraging it. Sure. We're encouraging this type of insane behavior that you see that somebody was hired on to your child's school system, and the first thing you could think to do was go dig through 12 plus years of their posts to try and find something to be upset about. And all you found was one post from when they were 18 and said some young kids are about to lose their lives today. Like none of us have made a comment like that. And I'm sorry, but if you have kids that are in the school system, you've probably made comments like that at some point. Right?
I remember posting on Facebook when my kids were really little. Now, this would be me in my 20s. Social media was new. I remember I posted something about our kids were both just, it was one of those days,
Yeah.
And I just said, there's about to be a couple of kids put up for sale on Craigslist. Right. And I put that out there just because it was like, going to sell these kids. Right.
Yes.
But there would be like, if you just went and looked that up and, because my mom, I was in Alaska at the time. My parents live in Washington at the time. And my mom posts like, oh, sorry, the kid's being difficult tonight. Like, Nana will fly up there and take care of it. She got what I was saying. Right.
I think most people with common sense would get what you're saying.
Especially who knows me enough to like request friendship on Facebook, right?
That's right.
But if you just took that completely out of context, you'd be like, this human trafficking piece of garbage monster.
Right.
How could you make that joke with all that? Right. So it's like, you could take anything out of context. Like, I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff probably in my social media.
The people that are popularizing this, right? There's this level of, I can appear more enlightened the more offense I take to something. If I can find offense,
it's currency.
Then that's right. That's right. And what's crazy to me is that I think everybody can agree, right? Because if you stop externalizing it, you stop looking for the problems with everybody else, and you internalize that thought, and you look at yourself, and you look at your own thoughts, you look at your own statements, you look at your own inappropriate jokes throughout the last 12 years of your life, you would find a lot of things that you could judge.
Sure.
Right. But people naturally, especially the ones that seem to be on these witch hunts, they will have grace for themselves, because I know who I am.
Right.
Ultimately, I'm on a journey, right? And I'm learning as I go. And it's like, you have grace for your mistakes, but they don't have the same grace for the people that they're out there trying to witch hunt. Yeah. And it's, I don't know, like, to me, it's disgusting, man. So I don't know. I'm hopeful that this is a sign that we're starting, even though it's a small story from a small place.
Sure.
It's a sign that we're not giving in. Like, more people are waking up and not giving in to the mob mentality.
It is also a teachable moment. And one of the things they were going to have her do was do some talks with students about, like, hey, you do need to be careful about what you're posting on social media, because these things live forever now. Right. And that was something we call it, like, digital citizenship and your digital footprint and stuff that you're leaving. Like, when I was a hiring manager at a warehouse, a distribution warehouse.
Yeah.
If somebody was applying, first thing I do is go look them up on Facebook or any social media
100%.
and see. And
somebody I'm seriously considering, I'm going to go try to see.
Especially when we were hiring for sales reps, I'm like, I'm sorry, but if your profile picture is you with a bunch of buddies with a red Solo cup, like, I don't know if you're the best representative of our company, right? That's your public profile picture.
Yeah.
So, like, there's also, like, it's a balance too, right? Like, you do need to be careful what you're posting. There was a kid a couple years ago in the NFL draft who fell in the draft, fell to some later rounds because there was some concern over some things came out
about maturity levels based on what he was posting.
There was some old, like, tweets or something that came out from 7 years earlier about some offensive things that he was saying. John, he was 21 years old in the draft. Right. So he was 14.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
What 14-year-old doesn't, like, say stupid crap? And so he's showing off to his friends, just got social media. Like, but that being said, like, I remember showing that to my son and being like, hey buddy, this is just, like,
this will follow you.
Be careful. Like, there's things that you're going to post that you think are funny. Be careful what you're posting, because, these things will, like you said, these things will follow you. So I think there's a little bit of a balancing act there too. You do need to be careful what you post, but at the same time too, we need to be realistic in taking context and time and age into consideration before we just crucify people and cancel their careers.
Based on what she posted, the actual content that she posted that was disturbing, I'm really hopeful that she is meeting with these students today and saying, listen, two main takeaways. One, watch what you post online, because it will follow you, or it can follow you. And that's why it's important. And two, watch the way you talk to me. Right? You better watch your mouth around me, because I will end you. I will end you, kids.
Listen, your parents may have believed the I was just 18 story. But I will shut you down.
I will shut you down.
I remember asking my principal at one point, like a year or two ago, and I was kidding. He got that I was kidding. Yeah. I just said, "Hey, hypothetically, if I did bounce a kid's head right off his desk, like, is that like a warning, or is that a fireable offense?" Like,
right.
And he's laughing. He goes, that would be your last day teaching. And I was like, okay, see, I just need to know where the line, like where the guardrails are. I said, what if I could plausibly say that I tripped? And he's like, oh, then you're good.
Tripped on his head, bounced off the desk.
What if, you know, what if it's like, oh, I tripped over somebody's backpack and,
man,
you know, just a quick one. It's like, you know, we would have believed, you know, it would be plausible that you could have tripped and have done that, but to have tripped and bounced his head off the table 3 times in a row
and presented the hypothetical to us before it happened. Some things aren't adding up.
Less credible, Nick, is that you laid out this entire scenario and asked if this is an airtight alibi. In email.
Yeah, coincidences happen every day, man. I don't know what you want me to say. All right.
I'm buying a lottery ticket on my way home. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we're up against time, man. What are you thinking?
Yeah, let's call it. We had a listener mail. Let's push that. Let's hold that for next week. We'll do
listener mail next week.
Yeah, that one's still relevant. Consequently, if you do have a listener mail, something you want to get on there, you need to email Jon and Nick Show at gmail.com. In fact, I even made a little fancy graphic.
Oh, perfect.
I think the sound effect the sound effect's a little annoying, but so I'm going to trigger warning.
If somebody listened to us for an hour and a half today, I think they can handle a little sound effect.
This is going to be a little ear rapey here, so I'm sorry.
Oh, because of the neon lights.
Yeah, it's the neon lights. And did I spell that right? I don't know. Jon and Nick Show.
Oh, gosh, I hope so.
Jon.
Jon.
You know what?
If
you're watching on YouTube, it's up on the banner right above us.
Except that's an and sign, and it's not an and sign. It's Jon A-N-D.
Well, that's true. I guess I was just thinking how to spell your name.
Okay, perfect.
So Jon and
Nick Show at gmail.com or Jon and Nick Show at gmail.com.
It is just Jon and Nick Show at gmail.com. Perfect. Just like you can follow us at facebook.com/Jon and Nick Show or on Instagram at Jon and Nick Show.
Perfect.
So that's how you can get some to us. If you've got a question, comment, rant, you don't like that I used to give non-fat milk to fat people. Look, man, I was just a prophet, dude. 20 years early, I was like, COVID is coming, and you got to slim down.
You got to.
It's a really bad cold that mostly kills fat people. So
that's right. That's right.
I'm trying to do you a solid and help you be a little more solid and a little less squishy. So, what did I go too far? Was that the line?
No, dude. Hey, look who you're talking to, man. Wide load. Like I'm gonna hobble off this call and.
Yeah, but at least your feet can support your frame. So
that's right. That's right.
That's so messed up and funny. That's hilarious. Okay, Jon, you got anything else?
I know. I think I'm good, man.
All right. Then for the Jon and Nick Show, I'm Nick.
I'm Jon.
And we'll see you